name is Derek Harrington. I'm a police officer with the Hanson Police Department, currently assigned as a school resource officer and a member of our area coalition known as Whitman Hanson WILL. With Whitman Hanson WILL, we're always working on preventative education for drugs, alcohol, any type of addictions. We focus mainly with our school systems in Whitman and Hanson, as well as our community outreach with different drop-in incentives and educational areas. One of our most recent student-led organizations or projects was our Sticker Shock program, where we had a Whitman Hanson student design a sticker to put in all our convenience stores in the area to bring awareness to the laws of serving alcohol to minors, selling alcohol to minors, as well as the social host laws. Our students are open and accepting of our education and really enjoy it. This summer we brought Whitman Hanson WILL into our summer enrichment program at Whitman Hanson Regional High School, and each week we met with a different group of kids. We shared some educational stories. Mainly we shared the Chris Herron story with the group, and we watched the Chris Herron documentary the first day, where he talks about it's not about the end and how people get addiction, it's that first day that leads them to addiction that we want to help prevent. So, and he focuses that on struggle. And I think his message is pretty loud, it's pretty powerful, that struggle can happen to anybody, and we want to prevent that struggle or find help for that struggle before it leads to a life of addiction. So that's really what Whitman Hanson WILL is about. We're very proud of what we do, and we're thankful for the community resource and community support of Whitman Hanson WILL. So tonight we're at Brockton High School for our candlelit vigil for remembrance of those who did lose the battle to addiction and their struggle with addiction. So we're here to just remember those that we lost, unfortunately, and help maybe their stories will bring awareness to somebody else and prevent them from having the same struggle, both family-wise and individual.
My name is Caitlin Robichaud. I'm an adjustment counselor at Whitman Hanson High School, and I'm part of the Whitman Hanson WILL Collaborative. We support the community and each other in the school in working to battle addiction and substance use and people who have lost someone or people who are struggling with it themselves, and hopefully to kind of decrease the use and bring awareness to the community. I'm going to be speaking tonight on behalf of my sister who lost her battle with addiction last year, and just talk about what it's like to love an addict and how we can move forward and still show love without enabling, and just hopefully connect with everyone and share her story a little bit.
So welcome everybody to the 2021 annual Overdose Vigil by Candlelight. You can't hear me, I can tell by your face.
No.
You still can't hear me?
The speakers aren't on. Man, the speakers
Can't
aren't
hear me,
on.
sir?
They're on.
Oh.
They are? Oh, Jesus, yeah. Raise
Welcome to the 2021 annual Overdose Vigil by Candlelight.
Oh, Jesus.
My name is Amanda Sandoval. I'm the Assistant Director of Prevention Services for High Point Treatment Center and the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative. The collaborative is made up of 5 community coalitions who are all here represented tonight. We'd like to thank all of our volunteers from Bridging Lives, the Brockton Mayor's Opioid Overdose Prevention Coalition, EB Hope, Rockland Cares, and Whitman Hanson WILL. Your efforts are what continue to allow us to make positive change happen in our communities. With everything that the world has taken on during the past year and a half, it has been a difficult reminder of just how fragile we are as people. Most people, in one way or another, have struggled with their mental health and or with substance use. We've been reminded that addiction takes no days off. Mental illness takes no days off. The fight for our loved ones took no days off. 2020 brought the painstaking reality that overdose fatalities across the country and locally reached an all-time high. The epidemic within the pandemic seemed to never slow. Despite the increased need for services, critically important treatment beds were taken offline, and some of our most vulnerable populations were more isolated than ever before. and it left us to face challenges that we could never have even begun to imagine. We understand that our work in this field is more important than ever before, and we will continue to do our part. Not only have we struggled through this past year and a half, but we've also seen just how resilient we can be. As our worlds have been falling apart in more ways than one, we've been reminded of what is important in our lives: our family, our friends, those small moments, connection to others, and community. If you've made it here tonight, you've made it through 100% of those dark and hard moments. We hope you take tonight as a safe place to grieve your loved one and to honor them. This year, on March 6th, my family suffered the loss of my cousin Danny. During the days after his loss, it was touching to hear from all of those whose lives he had touched. One thing that stood out is that his addiction was really never one of those things that they talked about. They talked about his kind nature. They talked about his selfless spirit. They talked about his unmatched sense of humor. He was so much more than this disease. As we continue to lose people we love to this battle, you just continue to hear this theme. We hear about the characteristics that they would give the shirt off of their back, that they were the light in the darkness, and that they could always make you laugh. When you lose someone you love to this disease, you often grieve them twice. You grieve the person that they were before their addiction and the relationship that you had with them, and then you grieve them again once they're gone. I saw just how hard Danny's battle was fought. I saw how my uncle was there no matter what. No matter the time, no matter the situation, he showed up, and Danny always knew that he could depend on his dad. This disease is insidious, though. Every day that you show up for your loved ones, it matters. Your love for them is felt deeply, and your fight is at times unbearable and always courageous. So as we move through this program tonight, give yourself permission to have this space for you to honor your loved one. You can expect themes of grief, love, loss, and hope. And we hope that you leave here tonight with a sense of connection to your community, to the services and to the support that is available, and to the love that surrounds us all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Peruccio, and I'm the Prevention Grants Manager at High Point Treatment Center and the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative. First and foremost, I would like to thank you all for being here tonight. We hope that you all had the chance to visit with our resource tables and services here tonight, who continue to be a resource for our community. Before I welcome our speakers up, I would like to inform you that unfortunately we will not have access to the bathrooms here tonight at the high school. And if you can, please silence your phones at this time. Please also know that there are t-shirts available over there by our resource table at the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative, and candles for the memorial slideshow. The event will be recorded and live streamed by Anawan Street Productions and will be streamed onto WBMS 1460 AM, 101.1 FM, and WMEX 1510 AM. Now I would like to introduce a representative from the Office of Mayor Robert Sullivan, John Messia.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us to this vigil. Mayor Sullivan sends his regards. Unfortunately, he was called out on emergency. My name's John Messia. I work for Mayor Sullivan for constituent services and in community engagement and outreach in Brockton, the City of Champions. This hits home to me and my family, and I'm honored to be here. This is a night for us to remember all of the loved ones that we still in our hearts are touched and reaching every day and holding in our hearts. And one thing we can be certain for, even though during the pandemic and how substance abuse has increased, we do not at one moment of each of our lives forget those dear loved ones in our hearts. We constantly look towards bettering our community and our city. We look towards all the programs, the different people that leaders in the community that work towards substance abuse, and we look for the positive outcomes to be able to combat substance abuse. I applaud all those programs and individuals that do work in the field. I want everyone to have a great night tonight and have a really, really important vigil for all our loved ones that we have lost. Thank you once again for inviting me to speak on behalf of Mayor Sullivan.
Thank you to the Mayor's Office for sending John Messina to speak. My name is Anna Dowd, and I am the coordinator for the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative. Now I would like to welcome Plymouth County District Attorney Timothy Cruz.
Thanks so much. It's great to see everybody here tonight, but obviously we all do it with mixed emotions as to why we're here. I wish that we no longer had overdose deaths to remember, but tonight is our night to remember the people that we've lost and renew the pledge that we're going to end overdoses by working together with all these various groups that are here and yourselves, people who have suffered so much. The District Attorney's Office has been fighting against this for quite a while, working with all these agencies that are here that you see right now, the Plymouth County Drug Abuse Task Force, Plymouth County Outreach, trying to make sure that we can get our programs out there so we can get people the services that they need, that we can overcome the stigma that's out there, which is a huge issue, as we all know, as you're trying to overcome and fight this battle of this disease. 2020 was a very difficult year for everyone, especially people struggling with addiction. Addiction is a disease of isolation. The social distancing and the remote work that kept us all safe from COVID-19 also endangered individuals in recovery. Nationwide, overdoses hit a record high last year. More than 90,000 people lost their lives to this disease. Across the country, that's a 30% increase since the beginning of the pandemic. And some states saw a 50% increase. In Massachusetts, we saw about a 5% increase in the overdose deaths from 2019 to 2020. I believe that the programs that we have here and all the great people who are working hard every day to overcome these issues stopped some of these overdose statistics from skyrocketing in the direction they could have gone. We always have to remember that the people who have passed are our brothers, our sisters, our daughters, and they're our parents, and they're people that we love. Every one of those numbers, as you all know, has left somebody with a broken heart. There are resources that are out there. Our office continues to work with the United Way of Greater Plymouth County Family Center to support families who are impacted by substance abuse through our Drug Endangered Children Initiative. It is imperative that we make sure that the children who are witnessing these traumas in their house get the help that they need to stop these cycles. We must help these kids who have these adverse childhood experiences. One overdose is too many, and I promise you that we will continue the fight until that number is zero. Tonight is a moment to reflect and fondly remember the people that we've lost. So I just want to thank you all for being here tonight, and please let you know that our office is here and all these agencies are here with help. Help is not far away. If you need it, if you know somebody that needs it, reach out. There are good people out there that can perhaps save lives. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you, District Attorney Cruz.
I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge Councillor Jack Lally from the City of Brockton. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Hillary Dubois-Farquharson, and it's been my honor and privilege to work with the City of Brockton since 2010, addressing opioid overdose fatalities, and then working with the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative and our neighboring partners since its inception. With that, it's my privilege to introduce the Brockton High School concert choir students, conducted by alumni Matt Cunningham, and they will be singing Sanctuary by Jason Robert Brown and Mac Huff.
Good evening, everyone. It really is an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. I want to thank Amanda and her team for inviting us. This is an issue that really hits close to home for me and a lot of my students here as well. The choir in front of you is made up of students and some alumni as well from the Brockton High Choral program. And as Hillary said, we're going to sing a piece called Sanctuary by composer Jason Robert Brown. It's a new composition from the musical theater world. It deals with themes of isolation, separation, silence, identity, and it asks the question, I am searching for sanctuary, will you shelter me? So I would ask that as you listen to us sing, listen to the lyrics, and maybe ask yourself, who is your sanctuary? Where is your sanctuary? What is your sanctuary? And we hope that you can find some healing from our performance.
Will you shelter shelter me? I am searching for sanctuary. Will you shelter me? Will you shelter me? I am stretching my arms to the sky. Can you reach me? Can you reach me? I am reaching for sanctuary. Will you shelter me? Will you shelter me? If you'll be my walls, if you'll be my roof, if you'll keep me safe, I will give you music. Shelter me, will you shelter me? I am searching for sanctuary. Will you shelter me? Will you shelter me? I am lost at the end of the world. Can you find me? Can you find me? I am reaching for sanctuary. Will you shelter me? Will you shelter me? I am praying for sanctuary. Will you shelter me? Will you shelter me? I am praying for sanctuary. Will you shelter me? Shelter me. I am here, I am here, I am here. Will you shelter me?
Good evening. My name is Laura O'Brien, and I am a member of the Bridging Lives Substance Use Prevention Coalition, which serves Bridgewater and Rainham residents. For those of you that live in these two communities, please know that we are a resource to students, families, and the community at large. If you'd like to know more about our coalition, please visit www.bridginglives.org or find us at our resource table here tonight. It is now my pleasure to introduce Kelly Maycumber, who is the former resident of Rainham. Kelly attended Bridgewater Rainham Regional Public Schools. She was actually a former student of mine, and now works for Plymouth Public Schools, coordinating prevention and education around substance use. With that being said, Kelly is here tonight to speak about her personal experience of grief and loss. Please welcome Kelly.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Brien. You will always be Mrs. O'Brien. Before I start tonight, I do want to say that I am truly grateful to the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative. I consider this an honor to be able to speak here tonight. Prior to experiencing grief, I would have explained it as sadness. It was not until grief arrived at my door that I was forced to observe and attempt to understand it. I soon realized that it was far more than just one singular emotion, but a complicated experience that took the liberty of weaving itself into my day-to-day life. This intense heartache integrated itself so completely that it was no longer something I could identify by itself. From the second that I met grief, it began to transform me. Of all that I've read about grief, the analogy that has stuck with me the most was from an anonymous author who compared his own grief to waves. When grief first hit me, its waves felt 100 feet tall. These waves came in the form of tears, anger, irritability, confusion, hysteria, panic, chaos. No one ever told me that grief felt so much like fear. These waves came seconds apart and left fleeting moments for breath before hitting again. These breaths came in the form of laughter, the sharing of stories, of kind gestures from loved ones before the waves inevitably hit me again. Even still, I found myself sitting in the shipwreck with all of the wreckage around me, and all I could manage to do was float. As time passed, the waves became a bit smaller, and there was more time between them, but they never stopped coming. Holidays were different, and special moments were celebrated with an empty chair at the table. People tiptoed around conversations with me, and random strangers on the street began to look a lot like the person that I lost. I played saved voicemails over and over on my car speakers just to hear from them again, and found myself bursting out into tears for all sorts of different reasons. Rooms were left untouched because the thought of getting rid of their things was just too much to consider. As more time passed, I began questioning my right to grieve, as if I needed permission. Should I still be sad? Are you talking about them again? Maybe you should just be over it by now. As the questions piled up, this quote was sent to me by a friend that helped me redefine my relationship with the experience. Grief, I've learned, is really just love. It's all the love that you want to give, but cannot. All of the unspent love gathers up in the corner of your eyes, that lump in your throat, in that hollow part of your chest. Grief is really just love with no place to go. It was then for the first time I realized that maybe there was a spectrum between all better and hopelessly doomed. That maybe it was possible to begin to live my life alongside this loss rather than waiting so anxiously to just be over it. As I continue to float through this vast ocean of grief, the one thing that I'm certain of is that while there are no rules and no guidelines when it comes to grieving, it feels most important to remind you here tonight that no one should ever have to grieve alone. People who are grieving don't need protectors or fixers. We don't need avoiders or people who pity our situations, but what we do need are patient, loving witnesses. We need people who can sit quietly and hold space for us. We need to know that even in our darkest moments, there is something holding that hope for us, even when we can't seem to hold it by ourselves. And as we work through this process, it's vital to take the time we need to ourselves to heal, but it's equally as important to lean on our support systems. Sometimes this support comes in the form of a friend or a family member. Sometimes it's a coach or a mentor. Sometimes this comes in the form of a community group, like Matthew's Candle, the Sun Will Rise Foundation, or Hope Floats. And while we know we are never going back to who we were before our loved one left us, we can find comfort in knowing that we have a hand in our community to hold on to as we brace for the next wave, no matter how far along in your shipwreck you are. As we spend the rest of tonight commemorating the beautiful souls that we've lost too soon to the grips of substance use, I would like to remind you that regardless of what darkness stigma may bring, the person who you are missing mattered, and they still continue to matter. And if love was enough to save them, then they would have lived forever.
Let us all work to continue to share their light, their hobbies, their talents, their quirks, their best characteristics, and their favorite things. And while our individual light may be weak, collectively our light is powerful. And as we continue to be what we love the most about the people that we've lost, we turn statistics into stories. And with enough light, the darkness of stigma doesn't stand a chance. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Woods. I'm part of the board of directors at Rockland Cares, and I've been a member there for about 7 or 8 years. We're a nonprofit run by volunteers. Our mission is to provide resources and support to those affected from substance use in Rockland. Whether it be providing rides to meetings for recovering those in recovery, purchasing necessities to caregivers of children who have lost a parent or parents to substance use, or providing information for support groups to grieving parents. We strive to be here for Rockland as much as we can in this epidemic. And we're really proud to be a part of the collaborative and other coalitions represented here tonight. And before I introduce our singer, I would just like to stress that reach out tonight, any night, anytime, to anybody, to somebody here, to a stranger. You're not alone. You're not alone in your grief. You're not alone in your recovery, your sadness. Let somebody be your legs when you feel that you can no longer walk for as long as you need. So I would like to introduce our singer. Music is such an important piece of the vigils, I think, each year, because I really feel like it's a time when we can truly be in our own feelings and emotions and can each interpret the song in whatever way makes sense to us. So if you can please join me in welcoming Vicki Lynch, who will be performing the song Stars.
Thank you so much, Linda.
So far, it felt like we could fly. Now I'm all alone in the dark of the night. The moon is shining, but I can't see the light. No, I can't look at the stars. They make me wonder where you are. The stars, oh, up on heaven's boulevard. You at all, I know you've gone too stars. So I can't look at the stars. So I can't look at the stars.
Good evening all. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for inviting me. My name is Derek Harrington. I'm a police officer for the town of Hanson, currently assigned as the school resource officer for Whitman Hanson Regional School District. I am also an active member of our area coalition called Whitman Hanson WILL. Through our outreach at Whitman Hanson WILL, and with the help of the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative, we have provided our community with a number of resources and awareness events to address substance use amongst our youth, families, and community at large. I now want to introduce our next guest speaker tonight. This speaker is also a member of Whitman Hanson WILL. She is a colleague of mine at Whitman Hanson Regional High School, where she is a social worker at the school. And most importantly, she is a friend. Please welcome Mrs. Caitlin Robichaud.
Good evening. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to stand here and speak with you tonight. I'm here to talk about my little sister, Julie, my beautiful, stubborn, strong-willed sister that could walk into any room and light it up with her infectious smile and larger-than-life sense of humor. It's hard to stand up here talking about her being gone. I admired my sister. One of the things I love and miss about her the most is that she always owned who she was. She wore her scars of addiction and didn't hide them, or her addiction, from the world. She would talk about it, what it's done to her, what it's done to her family and friends, and she was beautifully open and always 100% herself, which is why anyone who met her fell in love with her. Unfortunately, all of us here have been impacted by addiction in one way or another. We are part of a club that we did not ask to be part of, but it's amazing to see just how not alone we all really are. We all know what it's like to love an addict. Loving an addict will consume your every thought. Watching their physical deterioration and emotional connection to everything will make you the most exhausted insomniac alive. Watching the person you love disappearing right before your eyes, you start to become invisible too. Those not directly affected won't be able to understand why you're so focused on their well-being, especially since they don't seem very concerned with their own. If they don't care, why do you? They do not understand, and they're lucky not to understand. You'll catch yourself wishing that you didn't understand either. Drug addiction has the largest ripple effect I've ever witnessed. Not one person is left unscathed. These drugs cause parents to outlive their children. They cause jail time and homelessness. They cause brothers and sisters to mourn their siblings. They cause nieces and nephews to never meet or remember their aunts and uncles. And they cause children to mourn their parents. They cause hurt and pain and grief and loss. Loving an addict is being scared every time the phone rings, wondering if this is the phone call that you've been dreading. It's being called by a stranger telling you to get to the hospital now to say your goodbyes, only for them to make it and relive this horrible nightmare over and over again. It's wondering if today is the last time you'll see them, so all you can do is hold them a little bit closer. Loving an addict is having your husband hold you at night while you cry and scream for things to be different, for them to just wake up and get sober.
Drug addiction causes statistics to rise and needs to fall, and praying seems like the only thing left to do. You beg for the strength to make it through the days. They will call them a junkie, trash, or a criminal, which is not the truth. They may be an addict, but they are still people suffering from an unrelenting disease. And behind every addict is a family desperate for their survival. When you grow up, you're taught to stay away from drugs. You're taught why they're bad, and you're taught to say no. But what they never teach you is the hell you'll go through loving someone who is addicted to drugs. You won't know the feeling you'll get when your heart feels like it's being ripped in half, or the twisting in the stomach you get at a 3 a.m. phone call. They never teach you that even though the addict is still with you, you'll start to grieve them as though they're already gone. They don't tell you the heartbreak you'll feel when you can't save them. They don't tell you that you'll find yourself screaming for help on the inside, but you're too afraid people will judge you or your loved ones, so you keep it to yourself to protect them. Loving an addict is sending them a message as often as possible, knowing that if they check them, they're still alive, waiting for that little seen or red bubble to appear. They don't teach you that even if you never try a drug in your life, drugs can still kill you. They don't teach you that when they die, a part of you dies too. My sister lost her way at a young age. When my father died, she was only 11, and drugs slowly crept into her life as a way of helping her grieve and feel nothing and something all at the same time. And by the time she was 15, she was completely addicted to heroin. She explained to me how it happened, her addiction. She said that it started with just a simple conversation, just asking someone what it felt like to use heroin. Someone told her that it would make you feel good, it will take away the pain you're feeling and silence all your demons. This appealed to her, and she spent the next 15 years of her life in a battle against herself and her addiction. But my sister also told me something else. She told me that she had hoped that someday somebody would ask her what it felt like to try heroin. She said that she would tell them that it takes away everything and anything. It makes the pain you have worse, and it gives the demons you're facing more power and control than ever before, and that they should run as far away from it as they can. I never expected to have to watch my baby sister die. I know this probably sounds horrible, but I always imagined that if Julie was going to be taken by her addiction, it would be through an overdose. I would get a phone call that in an instant she was gone. I never even considered the possibility that my family would be faced with decisions on amputation and heart infections and hospice. Spending last summer watching Julie slowly disappear from the pain she was in, the recognition that her addiction won, that she was going to die, and that she had to spend the summer accepting that she was not going to be around much longer was excruciatingly painful. How does someone make sense of that? She was only 29 years old. She hated her disease. She didn't want to be an addict. She didn't want to die, and she never actually thought her family would have to watch her undergo pain and suffering on her deathbed until she was gone. Julie always had a goal for herself, which was making it to 30. We would have countless conversations over the years that she fully believed that her life would change when she turned 30, that it was some magical number where everything would be different for her. And she was right. Julie died on the morning of her 30th birthday, August 27, 2020. Everything was different. The last thing I want to share, and what I've learned through all this, is the importance of forgiveness and love. There's a difference between love and enabling, and while Julie would get angry with me and tell me all the reasons why she was right, why she was the one who knew what she needed, and how I didn't understand, or how I didn't care unless I did what she asked, I didn't give in to what she needed, and at the end of the day, it didn't matter, because regardless of that anger, she knew that I loved her, because I would tell her I loved her every single day. Of course I regret, I'm human and it's part of the cycle, but one thing I don't have any regret about is sharing and giving her my love day in and day out. I made sure of that. So while I didn't give in to those moments that we all know so well, I did remind her that she was loved. So please, make the call, send the text. There's no time like the present, and there's no worse pain than what if or should have. We have to end the stigma. We have to support each other and not pass judgment. You never know what someone is going through or what they have been through. No one wakes up one day and says, you know what, I want to be an addict. It just doesn't happen. One of the last conversations I had with my sister, she told me this: I want everyone to know how grateful I am and how much I love them. There is more for me than the way I've been living. I don't want to die, but I can't make it through this again. I didn't win. I had everything I ever wanted, and heroin still found its way back to me. I gave in, and it won. I just want everyone to know how thankful I am and that I will always love them. There are some people who shine too bright for this world, and Julie was one of them. She never wanted to be an addict. She didn't want to die, but she did want to make a difference. So be the difference, and let's help end addiction together. Be kind. Hate the addiction, not the person. Thank you so much for listening. Be kind, be forgiving, stay strong, and please know that you're not alone.
Good evening. East Bridgewater first became a trusted local partner in what would later become the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative through meeting Susan Silva in 2011. Susan wanted the work being done to address stigma, prevent overdoses, and educate the community to spread through her town. She was the mother of a child who was struggling, and she dug down deep to find the fierce determination born out of her love to help others. Susan wanted change. She wanted to create easier pathways to treatment. She wanted to create a more supportive network for those struggling, and she worked to accomplish that goal. For the past decade, she never slowed or stopped. Today, EB Hope is a community-driven coalition with strong municipal support, and PCO Hope is a nonprofit that proactively provides a safe gateway to substance use information, resources, support, and hope for individuals and their loved ones, as well as promoting awareness and education in partnership with the community at large. Susan never gave up hope for a better future. For her family, for her community. Earlier this month, Susan received the devastating news that her son Michael had passed away. It was a call that no mother ever wants to receive, but that far too many have. The pain from a loss like this is overwhelming. It strikes at the deepest nerves that feel as though it will never stop. No words can bring relief to pain so deep. So, as Susan has done so often for families throughout the region, we stand with her tonight to mourn and to continue moving towards hope. Please welcome Susan Silva.
It's an honor to be here tonight. And it's been an honor to work with the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative all these years. They have been mentors, they are dear friends and supporters. And I was telling someone tonight, they've literally grown me up. And I am so very grateful to these women and to Dave. We can't forget Dave. I'm here tonight actually to honor someone else. His name was Sean Merrill. The Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative and all of its coalition partners are deeply saddened by the passing of Sean Merrill. Sean was one of our own, participating at one point or another in events in every community and a regular contributor at our regional meetings. Sean grew up in Chelmsford, but became a transplant to the South Shore, working for several years as the executive assistant and community relations liaison at Teen Challenge. In his role, Sean thrived. Sean was a natural connector and brought so many together to end the stigma of substance use. At this time in his life, Sean had already lost his younger brother, Corey, to substance use, and he was able to provide peer support for those people who had lost loved ones to overdose. It was evident to all who knew Sean how devastating this loss had been for him. And he often shared his story at local vigils, like today. I remember the first time that Sean shared his story at the EB Hope Vigil in East Bridgewater. It was a very, very moving night. During this time, Sean was living whole and fulfilled life as a grateful man in recovery, something that he worked tirelessly to sustain and that he wanted so desperately. He was quick to offer help. He had a kind and friendly demeanor. When you were with Sean, he always went out of his way to say hi or give a handshake or a hug. And they were amazing, deep-felt hugs. He smiled with his entire face, and his blue eyes sparkled when he spoke. He had a gift of giving his attention and heart to whomever he was engaging with and went out of his way to connect with everyone he could. It is a gift that not many people have, but it appeared to be a natural way of engaging for him. Sean was an effective advocate for those suffering. Through sharing his setbacks and triumphs, he was able to show the promise of recovery and was always honest about the work that went into it, offering a hand to hold to anyone to get them through it. He was an active member of our coalition family for many years and will be deeply missed. His mom is here tonight. Cheryl, would you join me on the stage? Cheryl, your son Sean became my brother. Many times when he would be at the drop-in center and you would show up, I would say, "This is my brother from another mother." He became that brother as we served together at the drop-in center. There was a very special moment when Sean became a member of the PCO board. He brought his light, love, and deep desire to help others find recovery to our table. Scripture tells us in Psalm 119:105, it says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." Sean took that to heart. His time at Teen Challenge, he found a love from God that filled his heart. And his love for God and his word became the light that was shown through him, the light that attracted others to Sean, and the light that he offered all he knew, unabashedly and with all he had. Cheryl, we ask that you just please accept this lantern from us as a remembrance of Sean's light, the light that he had inside him, and the light that he so often shared with others. Thank you for sharing this time with us.
Good evening. My name is Anna Pantalayos and I am the Operations Supervisor with Plymouth County Outreach. Plymouth County Outreach is a collaboration of the 27 municipal police departments in Plymouth County as well as Bridgewater State University, working together to make treatment more accessible to those living with substance use disorder and their loved ones. At this time, I'd like to introduce Justin Campbell. I've heard Justin speak on multiple occasions about a variety of topics, and each time I felt very privileged to learn from him. Not only is he knowledgeable about all things substance use, but as you'll get to hear for yourself, he's truly passionate about the work that he does. Thank you for all you do for the community, Justin. I'm looking forward to hearing you speak tonight.
Hey guys, thank you. I want to thank you guys for asking me to come speak tonight. I'd like to thank my close friend Susan Silva for asking me and putting me up to this, to whoever the selection committee was. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really grateful to be in recovery because they gave me a topic of hope, right? It's hard to describe hope, and so I use a lot of acronyms to do so. A lot of people know about hold on, pain ends. I like to use how one personally evolves, because we're all in the process of evolution here. Some people's evolution on Earth has just ended. But the evolution in our spirit is forever. And I can't talk about my personal evolution and my personal recovery without talking about all the dark times and all the sad times to get us to a point where we're at today. I have 5.5 years clean at this point, by God's grace and God's mercy. And I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to live 2 lives in one lifetime, right? Because most people don't get that opportunity. Most people don't get the chance to be up here. A lot of people like me end up on the board like this afterwards, right? And that's because we choose to use to live, and we use to die. At least that's my story, right? I started using after a lot of loss in my life, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that didn't go my way. I had a really great life growing up and everything seemed really good on the outside, but like, it was just masking the way I felt about myself on a daily basis. I grew up playing high-level baseball, traveling the country. Everything looked great. I had a great family. I had great aspirations. I was good in school. Everything looked really good on the outside. But little they know, my father passed away when I was 5 years old from the disease of addiction. And I carried that guilt and shame from a young age, trying to be the man of the household when I was young. Things that you don't realize that you're actually going through at the time. I started trying to get outside of myself, getting addicted to sports, getting addicted to school, getting addicted to all the things that look positive and look good on the outside, until those became a problem for me as well. I went to college, started doing well there, played high-level college baseball as well. But the problem was I started taking substances to change the body chemistry so that I could reach the next goal in my life. That next goal was professional baseball. That next goal was to transfer to a better school. The next goal was the next one. It's the same thing that we all do with drugs and alcohol as well. Do whatever means necessary to get the next one. I'm going about my life and I go to clear my head one day and I crash a four-wheeler. I break 8 ribs, my sternum, my neck, my entire left arm. I crack my skull open. I ruptured 6 organs. And I wake up from the hospital in a coma. I wake up from the coma fully addicted to substances. I had dabbled, I had used substances before that, but I'm not like this. When I woke up, the disease of addiction had such a stronghold on me, it made it so that I had no will to live anymore. I woke up from that coma suicidal. I woke up from that coma so depressed and so riddled with anxiety, I didn't have the capability of knowing how to live life anymore. The 21 years before me, where I was a successful part of society, I had good things in my life, were gone. I had no capability of living my life on life's terms anymore. And so I went to the one thing that was natural at that time, drugs. And I already had IV drug use from a doctor. So I went to what felt comfortable. I kept using, I kept crossing every line in the sand that we all say we're never going to cross. I go on and I keep getting high. It comes with that the consequences of addiction. You know, loss of family, loss of love, loss of trust, loss of capability to live life. And more importantly, it came to jails, courtrooms, dealing with people I never thought I would have to deal with, losing myself both internally and externally, physically, mentally, spiritually. I lost who I was. I lost the love of life I had, and I was left hopeless. After using for a few more years, I finally got sick of using, and it brought me back to another courtroom, another arrest, and thank God that somebody stepped in my way at that time and said, Justin, you really need some help. It wasn't my first time getting help. God, I hope it's the last. I accepted that little bit of help and went to treatment. And that was February 5th, 2016. Since then, I haven't felt it necessary to use a mood or mind-altering substance to change the way I feel about myself or any physical ailments that have gone on in my life. It's a massive difference between abstinence and recovery. Recovery is an active change in thoughts, behaviors, and ideas. A lot of people in the world are in recovery and they don't even realize it because of the positive attitude and the positive transformations they make in their lives. I feel like pretty much every single person here is in recovery, whether they want to admit it or not. And if they're not, they just need to do a little more self-internalization of what they're actually going through. About 90 days clean, which is a big paramount for a lot of people in recovery. A lot of people don't ever get to that point. I fell 2 stories at work and broke my leg and my back. I got brought to the hospital, and I realized I was at a crossroads in my life and in my addiction. Because yeah, I was abstinent for those 90 days previously, but I realized that if I put something in my body at that point, I'm choosing to die and be another name on this wall, rather than choosing to live. The doctor came in, tried to give me morphine, and I said that exact sentence to him. You put that in my body, you're writing me a prescription for my death. I wrote that. I'm lucky that my sponsor showed up for me. My mom showed up for me. My family showed up for me. The fellowship I'm a part of showed up for me. They physically picked me up. Mentally they picked me up. And spiritually they showed me I can make it through anything in this lifetime without the use of a substance. I started to physically heal after that accident. I mentally started to get a little bit better. The depression, the anxiety, the loss of the ability to live life how I thought I should live life started to leave. And spiritually I felt strong enough to start living my life again. Soon after that I started really diving into home group, step work, sponsorship. And the first guy that I sponsored, we were sitting there right after my celebration, and he asked me to start working in treatment. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm kind of a big guy. I probably shouldn't go back to ladders and roofs and falling off stuff anymore, right? And he said, yeah, probably a good idea. You're not the most stable up there anymore. But my recovery was stable, and he saw that in me, and he saw that like I had the ability and the potential to help a lot of people. Something I didn't see inside myself because I didn't have the confidence. I was full of fear and insecurities that we don't shed in early recovery as fast as we all think we should, or as fast as we'd like to. The next day he overdosed and died. That's when I made a decision to start working in treatment. And thank God that I did. So a few weeks later, I started working at Gosnell Treatment Center, and I started allowing my recovery to start helping other people besides myself. It changed my whole world. It gave me hope that life is possible. It gave me hope that I too can be a positive person in this world. It gave me that evolution that I so seeked my whole life of learning how to get better, not only for myself, but for my family and for my loved ones around me. It gave me strength. It gave me the ability to open my eyes and realize that the world's a big place out there and we can accomplish a lot of things. We don't have to just accomplish how we can get the next one anymore. When I realized that, I started to grow, I started to heal, and I started to actually truly recover. I worked there for a couple of years, going through the different things, and then I only bring this up because it's so monumental in my life. That same doctor that tried to give me that morphine in my hospital bed, a few years later I'm sitting on a committee on how to structure pain management regulations for hospitals in my area so that no addict ever gets sent into a relapse again without having the proper intellectual ability to answer that question for themselves. I started working on different things like that. I started being able to do interventions for people. I started being able to do coaching for people. I started being able to give back to our community. I started being able to be a productive member of society. And now I can safely say I'm not starting to, I am. My journey's just beginning. I still have a lot to go, but there's a lot of hope in this world. You just have to find a way to channel it for yourself and find the strength. Not every day is going to be a great day. There's a lot of things that go on in this world, a lot of people dying lately. But the thing is, if we can help just one person, one day, it's worth it. If you can change a life today, even if that life's your own, today was a success. I'm so very grateful that you guys gave me the opportunity to really come out here and talk to you guys a little bit. Hope's a funny thing, because hope's the actions and the accumulation of the actions and what you feel afterwards. You have to go through some shit to get hope. You have to go through some stuff and feel some pain to get out on the other side. And that's what recovery is all about. That's what we're all about here. We're all about remembering those that don't have a chance to have another day clean, but we're here to celebrate and honor them. I'm so very blessed to have this opportunity. I'm so very blessed that I was asked to speak here. And just remember, if nobody told you they love you today, you're hanging around the wrong people. Because there's plenty of people that are out there that have hope for you. And no matter what you're going through in this world, somebody has enough strength to help you through it. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is George Kelly, and I'm a volunteer for the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative. I'm also the father of Jonathan Kelly, one of the individuals pictured in the slideshow that we are about to see. I would like to say thank you to all of the courageous people who spoke tonight and dedicated your time to us. And all of you who are attending here tonight, for being here. It's very important to many people, many that you may not even realize. Since the inception of these vigils, the collaborative has collected photographs from the region in order to commemorate those who have been lost to the horrible disease of addiction. The video slideshow is not only meant to recognize those individuals who were taken from us too soon, but it's also intended to help remove the stigma associated with substance use disorders. Prior to COVID, we were encouraged by a small reduction in the number of cases and deaths associated with the opioid epidemic. As COVID advanced, as was mentioned earlier, the number of people challenged by substance abuse disorder grew. And the data shows that at the end of the past year, we hit record highs that have never been seen before. Many of the recent deaths occurred when people relapsed. We are hopeful that we can regain and further the positive gains in the positive direction that we were making prior to the pandemic. With the loss of those individuals, many family, friends, co-workers, community members, and those in the recovery community are impacted. We have been deprived of the many contributions that they would have continued to give to the world. This is evident by the number of people who are gathered here tonight. When this slideshow originally played in August of 2013, there were 22 photographs that played to a single song. Today, the slideshow portrays a series of 392 beautiful and hopeful pictures representing over 300 individuals. Well, the increase in photographs, and unfortunately, this means a rise in the number of people who are dying. It also represents the courage of families to share their stories without shame or fear of becoming part of the stigma. Our hope tonight is for you to not leave here with your heart more broken or your shoulders heavier with the burden of loss, but that you see this vigil as a living, breathing representation of the people that we're here to honor tonight. Our hope is that as a community we realize that our words, actions, and thoughts have a powerful impact, and that this pandemic, or this epidemic, that's been fueled in part by the pandemic, can be stopped. We will continue to persevere in the names of the loved ones we have lost, with the hope for those in recovery and for those still suffering. On behalf of the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative and our partners, we thank you all for coming tonight.
Shine say